The Orioles also, Rock, as we were just starting this show, made a move. And it wasn't for trading. It was a trade, and it wasn't trading for cash considerations that everyone's used to trading. The Orioles landed a pitcher, and also maybe a pitcher that people aren't used to being acquired. Or that, sorry, that the Orioles were hoping there was going to be a trade, but for a different pitcher. Maybe you want to start.
Yeah, the Orioles acquired right-handed pitcher Jonathan Heasley on a trade with the Kansas City Royals for rookie ball right-hander Cesar Espinal. Here's the thing with Heasley. He's
to give the context real quickly, just so you don't go into a full topic. This was a video of Heasley, unfortunately.
Oh yeah,
heaving,
letting it out. Heasley was heaving on the mound, and so the video went viral recently when the Orioles just traded for him or brought it back up, and this happens. But yes, that is who the Orioles acquired.
I know. Well, first of all, he's human. He's one of us. Like we've all felt like that.
Oh my God.
At some point in time, maybe like a Sunday morning or a Saturday morning.
Yeah, we get it. Listen,
he fits in.
Yeah, he does fit in.
That's all of us. That's you, Rocco.
Isn't it a beautiful thing? Guy's 26 years old. He appeared in 12 games last season for the Royals. He pitched 15 innings. And here's what Oriole fans might not necessarily like. His ERA is 7.20. So ERA is not great, but you look at some of the guys they've brought in from other teams, especially last offseason, and you looked at their numbers and you saw what they did. I mean, Mike Elias has a plan with this guy.
Do you know what Yenier Cano's
he was one of the
ERA
people that
ERA was in Minnesota.
It was terrible.
It was not in 2022. He had a 9.22 ERA.
Yeah, it was
18.69 with the Baltimore Orioles. So
it was awful.
This is not. Do not look at this and say, oh my God, this guy's terrible. He'll never do anything.
And we're not saying he's going to be the next Yenier Cano, but for Yenier Cano to come in with that ERA and then to be an all-star, that says something about the Orioles and what they did with him as a pitcher and
Felix
how they developed
Bautista
him.
was a given up on prospect.
I don't doubt that the O's can do the same thing with this guy, bringing him over. Rip, don't you think?
Yeah. So this is the part of it. The examples that you guys just provided, and also, Ryan O'Hearn. Everyone was, why the hell are the Orioles acquiring Ryan O'Hearn? Well, it's because the guy has talent. He has the ability to swing the hell out of the bat. And given the right opportunity and everything kind of clicks, you saw it. The Orioles, that's what they're doing. There's a method to the madness. It doesn't mean it's going to work out, but it also has the chance to pay off on something that, relatively speaking, is such a small move. It's not giving up a big prospect. And who knows, maybe it turns out to be something that the Orioles could regret, or it could be something that helps bolster this team, adds more depth, and gives more opportunity. That's what you want at the end of the day. It's not the sexy move. It's not the splash move. And also with the Royals have been pretty active in free agency, if you guys have been paying attention.
Mike Elias is not sitting there saying, this guy is going to be our seventh inning guy. This guy is going to automatically make the opening day roster. Ryan O'Hearn didn't make the opening day roster. So let it play out. I know people are going to freak out and call this a classic Orioles move. They just want to get a bunch of guys that'll pitch a bunch of innings. It doesn't matter how they do. Let things settle in. Let him go out and pitch for this ball club.
And develop.
Exactly. He's 26 years old.
Young.
This is not a guy who's 35 on the back end of his career, and we're like, okay, I know you had a 7 ERA last year. Let's see if we can revive you. This is a guy who's still trying to figure things out. We've seen what this pitching lab and the pitching coaches for the Orioles have done with guys over the past 2 years. So why not take another chance? I mean, you give up a rookie ball player, not a top prospect, a guy that a lot of guys in front of him roadblocking him, and you get a guy that maybe he contributes next year, and maybe he doesn't.
But that's the thing. You have to make risk. You have to take chances, and in some cases, you can take more. This is a low risk for the Orioles with a chance of high value. And that's what we're trying to explain. And I was just mentioning some comments about it. Austin, you're right. Throws a lot of strikes. It's a good problem to have. And that's the most important thing. Can you be around the plate? And then can you learn how to put batters away? That's going to be the reality of it. If you can learn how to hone your skills to be more productive, that's what you want. And I was trying to finish the point of the Royals. They've been spending more in free agency. So it makes sense that they're going to make a move because, quite frankly, they're looking at, just like they did with Ryan O'Hearn, they're going, we don't see the Royals, we don't see a value in keeping this player anymore. We're ready to make a move. So it seemed like a good partnership. It's not the only move the Orioles are going to make.
Yeah.
No.
But we're waiting on that Yamamoto deal to be done. If everyone's wondering,
And then
it's him.
as soon as Yamamoto goes, the floodgates are going to
That's
open.
we were just talking about that today with this guy though from the Royals. You could potentially get a Cano where well, not comparing him to Cano, but I'm saying you get a solid outcome like you did with Cano, or it could turn into Rip. I know it breaks your heart to say this, like Fuji, who had his flashes, but really never came into his own here in Baltimore at that point in time when we wanted him to. So I think that's what fans look at. They see the high ERA. They're like, all right, what kind of pitcher are we getting and how is he going to develop here in Baltimore? And that's a fair question to ask.
Yeah. And so here's the thing. I just saw Paul just answer this while it's here. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for the comment. Thank you for the question or comment. Not really a question, more of a statement. You say the Orioles are going to make a move, but there are no quality players left in the market. Here's the thing. For the Orioles, regardless, they are looking at trying to acquire a player with team control. Because here's the thing. We just saw Jack Flaherty sign with the Detroit Tigers. We talked about it last time we were live. Jack Flaherty, I think he's actually going to have a bounce back year. But if the Orioles brought him back, the fan base probably wouldn't be happy about it. They'd be like, well, what type of upgrade is that? The Orioles have a lot of great options in-house they're going to try to figure out. And they're going to figure out if guys like DL Hall, Tyler Wells, if they're going to be starters, not be starters. And then, by the way, Dylan Cease and other players, keep in mind, Dylan Cease, Corbin Burns, Shane Bieber, these guys, I know that the realities of could they be traded to Baltimore, could they not? We don't know, but there are players that are going to be in trade talks. And I believe that that's where the Orioles are going to look first. Team control, but whoever misses out on the Yamamoto sweepstakes is also going to be in on these other players. So that's where I think the Orioles are sitting. And quite frankly, I personally believe Kyle Bradish and Grayson Rodriguez might be one of the most lethal 1-2 punches in Major League Baseball next year. And if you look at the Orioles starting rotation going into next year, it really is one of the best in the American League East. If you're buying into the fact that they build off of their successful 2023.
Well, that's what I was about to say too. Like for a while now, since the end of the season, and even really in the All-Star break, I was talking about or during the All-Star break, we were talking about this before the trade deadline. It was like the Orioles don't have to get that much better to still be an elite group that we saw last year because the core is still there. You had a couple of players without betting a farm on it, and they're still going to be a ridiculous team. So I think it's just one or two solid pitchers away. And really, it's just Mike Elias trying to figure out, okay, how can I get these guys without giving up too much? And I think that's really what it comes down to. So I really wouldn't worry if I was an Orioles fan because they're going to be just fine. The town's still there. The team as a whole is still pretty much intact. And you got other amazing players that are coming up through the farm. Jackson Holliday's more than likely going to be starting opening day. So I don't think there's anything to worry about. And we just get a couple of good solid arms. And I think the Orioles are still going to be in just fine shape. I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Jacob Calvin Meyer, he's a great follow on Twitter. He writes for the Orioles, or writes for the Baltimore Sun for the Orioles. He's one of their beat guys. He just said nearly a year ago, the Royals needed room on their 40-man roster, so they traded Ryan O'Hearn to the Orioles for cash. Monday, the Royals needed room on their 40-man roster, so they traded right-handed pitcher Jonathan Heasley to the Orioles for a rookie ball pitcher.
And
can lightning strike twice?
Yeah, but that's
Great
why
tweet.
it looked like it was a great tweet. Shout out Jacob on that. That's phenomenal. But it's showing the fact the Royals had to make a move, and they probably were possibly going to DFA him. So the Orioles said, you know what, we like this guy enough, let us take him. And Mike Elias, you can say what you want, but that front office has done a great job. And Rick, I agree. Tyler Wells, whichever role he's going to be in, has proven that he can be successful. And I think for the Orioles, there's a lot of great pieces here. Yeah,
friend of the show.
Yeah, friend of the show, Tyler.
Got the dog ears going.
He's got the dog ears going for
you
sure.
gotta hit the dog ears on.
We'll get Tyler back on as we move further down.